Hi everyone, this reading is for the cycle starting with the new moon on July 2nd. That's the new moon in Cancer. And on the same day there is a partial solar eclipse. So this reading is an energy transmission explaining what energies are available to us over this time period. This first reading will be for the collective. I'm not an astrologer. This is not an astrology report. This is a channeled message. And as I said, it will be describing the energies available at the new moon time on July 2nd, but this period is actually a much longer cycle of probably about 6 months. So watch through this reading and then bookmark it and come back to it in a couple months' time to just remind yourself of the messages that you received here today. So the first part of the reading, I'm going to do my holographic mandala spread for all signs. It's going to be a general reading for everybody to understand what are the complexities of energies available to everyone at this time period. And then I'm going to take my Morgan Greer deck and pull a couple of cards for each sign to give a little bit more specific insight of what frequencies each individual zodiac sign will be dealing with. But I would recommend that you watch the whole reading. You will find insight in each of the signs that I read for. You could also, if you want to, associate the zodiac wheel with the different houses, so you could like refer to your astrology chart and look at what each house is for you and associate the messages that come through for each of the houses to what's happening in your chart if you want to get more insight into what specifically is coming up for you over this time. So please take a moment here to tune in with me, check in with your higher self, ask your higher self to pass on any messages that you need to hear so that we can create a really specific feedback loop to make sure that you're getting tailored messages that are for you. I'd ask you also to set aside any distractions and please don't multitask at this time. You may also want to put headphones in so that you can really pay attention to the reading and not get distracted by external activities. So let's get started. Wow. So far, all of the readings are, all the cards have come up in the upright position, which is unusual for me because I do shuffle the deck very well and I have the cards mixed around in all directions. So all the cards but two are in the upright position. A lot of major arcana energy here in the reading, and also a lot of swords cards coming up. So this is telling me that this is a time period where we could be really evaluating and assessing a lot of concepts and ideas that we may have been, I'm hearing, producing. My first impression when I put the cards down is that this is a time to evaluate, assess, I'm hearing conduct. The feeling I'm getting is that it's a time of sorting and organizing and arranging your thoughts and ideas. I feel that it's more of a time of management of planning, of strategizing, and less about actual action. I'm feeling that there's 3 6s here in the reading also. Suggesting that it's a time that's very harmonious and that there's a time going on here where energy is being, as I said, organized and sorted and evaluated and put together in a way that a strategy or a plan is being mapped out that will help create an alignment. That's what it feels like. You have a Woman of Crystals at the foundation here, Sage of Crystals at the heart of the reading, and the Hierophant in the crowning heart position, all in upright. There's also the 8 of Crystals here. And 9 of Cups is the crossing card at the center of the reading. It does feel very much like, as I said, there is an element here of like, I keep hearing strategizing, quiet strategizing, thoughtful energy processing through the mind. And I feel like it's, even though there's cards here that are showing movement, like you have the 7 of Worlds, the 6 of Worlds there, I feel like this is much more about preparation. And probably a lot of you are thinking, well, I've been like working on things for so long during most of this year, I'm ready to go. But I do feel like there is like just a momentary pause here before the gates open and things can really actually physically move in the world. So what else is here is you have the 9 of Cups, that's the crossing card in your reading. It's actually in the reverse position. With the Hierophant as the crowning card and the Woman of Crystals at the foundation. There could be an element here of, for some of you, maybe dealing with institutions or bodies of order or organization. Could be legal matters, could be institutions like educational institutions or formal kind of governing bodies that you may need to interact with around this time. But again, I feel like it's beneficial. I don't feel that there is some like energy here that is difficult or testing. Like I said, most of the cards are upright with the exception of these two that came down last in the reading. I'll get to those in a second, but everything feels like clear and aligned and moving forward. There is an element here of new beginnings in a sense, but with that is this feeling of like things having been in process for some time, ideas having been cultivated and flourishing as in times gone by, like ideas that you've already been marinating on and processing in your mind and maybe even talking about with people. I feel like there is still an element of like maybe refinement with that, with ideas that you've already been cultivating and new concepts and projects that you may have been brainstorming for some time. You may feel like you're ready to actually get started on those things, but what I'm seeing here is that there is, as I said, an element here of a final kind of strategizing, reorganizing. It's like a very refined process of preparation and organization so that when the green light actually hits, there is an ability to move forward with absolute swiftness and efficiency because everything is so prepared now that when the time is right, things will be clear and swift and activated and aligned in a way that means there isn't any kind of stopping and starting energy later on. All right, this central axis here across the reading from past to present, you have 8 of Crystals, Sage of Crystals and 7 of Worlds all upright. Again, this feels to me like what I basically just described. So that energy of having already been developing ideas and concepts for a while. And it feels like there's this process here right now where there's a culmination of concepts coming together and a kind of synthesization where like information is integrated into either a collaborative effort or something that you're working on. Somehow there's like, and with that energy of me having just described like a sort of final pause before the gates open, I feel like there's some final pieces of information that need to be received before start can actually happen in the physical world. So there is a kind of like poignant moment of pause here before action really starts, and that's going to require patience for some of you. Others will understand that it's just very much about the right timing, and that there is a need here for some really valid and relevant pieces of information that you may have been waiting on to actually come to you before you can proceed forward and process all of the data that you actually like having come into you, into your reality, onto your desk. Now, and yeah, the 7 of Worlds here is called Breakthrough, and in this card it's got this image of the horse. It's very red and fiery. Hope you can see that. So this is telling, and this is in the position of outcome on this half of the reading here. So how I'm seeing this as is, yes, waiting for some last bits of information to come into your sphere of reference so that you can put things together in a really prepared way before you actually take off. And those last bits of information that you're waiting on will be really key things here that will prevent you from having to redo things in the future. It's also going to prevent you from making mistakes for having lack of information in front of you. So the feeling here is that it's really worth waiting that extra couple of weeks before you try to push something forward that is actually not the right time just yet. Could be a couple of weeks, could be a couple of months. This is just a general reading for everyone. So make it apply as it is relevant for you. But if this reading is not making sense for you and you don't feel like any of these messages are for you, then just let it be. Now here we have in the position of how you see yourself right now, 6 of Wands with the Hermit reversed. This is saying to me that you are feeling like there is a growing sense of confidence, and that is something that comes hand in hand with a sensation of a growing trust that you are in alignment, that you are on the right path, and that you are working towards goals that feel like they are really authentic and relevant for you as on a personal level. There is also an element here of coming out. I feel there's like, as confidence grows and there's a feeling of moving closer towards the real path that you have been kind of cultivating. With the Hermit reverse here, I feel that there is an element here of maybe there's like a moment coming soon where you will finally reveal to the world and to maybe even to your close circle of friends, it's something that you may have been working on very closely, that you are very passionate about, that you are ready to step into the world with in a way that is more public and less quiet and less private. There's something there. There's also here a feeling of like, even like the energy I'm feeling all together here is that it's not about actually arriving at a goal and then feeling successful. It feels very much like here with all these like upright cards, with the Man of Worlds there, the Seven of Worlds here, the Six of Wands, and even the Hermit. There's this feeling here that regardless of what it looks like on the outside, you're feeling good because you've been kind of consistently stepping forward with a patient determination towards doing the things that you feel are right for you, that are your things that are yours to express. And regardless of whatever like possible monetary reward could come from that, there's a feeling here of being in alignment, of feeling like empowered by your decisions, of feeling trust and confidence in yourself and in a higher intelligence that you've been, dedicated towards unifying with and integrating with. And that's what I feel here, is this really beautiful energy of integration, of understanding, of learning to become more in alignment with your higher self, with a higher authority, that's the Hierophant, with your higher self, with higher wisdom. And it's less about, fulfilling the aspirations and dreams that other people have for you, but rather being true to yourself and what you need to do to express the authority and authenticity of your spirit, of your essence. And so with that here we have the Devil's Play and the Star in reverse. This is kind of describing your environment, and I feel what this is saying here is that there is sort of an overcoming of, again, the need to please others, or the need to perform for others, or the need to kind of help other people reach their goals and make other people happy. But more I feel like a turning point has occurred where there is a clear and precise understanding of what's true for you and what direction it is that you need to take in order to fulfill your soul's purpose, your life path, your dreams, your aspirations. That's the Star. So that feels really beautiful, this energy of alignment, of being clear. Mainly it's a mental and emotional clarity that I'm sensing from this spread here, where you understand what's important for you, what's real for you, and there's a devotion that you are embodying that comes with that helps bring into alignment all of the hopes and dreams and aspirations that you've been feeling in a way that feels very grounded and very authentic. Man of Cups with Ace of Cups there. What it is as well is like a growing practice of unconditional self-love that helps you come to that place where you can actually say, like, no, this is what's for me. This is the direction I'm going. These are my aspirations and hopes. This is my will. This is my will working in harmony with a higher will that feels very, as I said, integrated and authentic. And it's a turning away from the need to please others, the need to fulfill other people's wishes for you, and a kind of elimination of any of that sort of like inauthentic love that strives to perform in order to win the affection of others, but rather it's a release of all that expectation and unrealistic hope to bring together a clear path of what your true self wants to do and wants to express for the purpose of your own sense of satisfaction. Ace of Cups with Man of Worlds. And then finally in the outcome position we have the Six of Worlds with the Six of Crystals, both upright. There's 3 sixes in your reading, as I mentioned. This feels really powerful. This, as I said, feels very like a harmonizing energy, a very clear energy of coming together in a sense with a clear purpose, with clear goals, with a clear plan of action. I think that's what the final steps are here before the gates actually open, is the last kind of steps of preparation needed to actually plan and execute what it is that you really want to express in a way that actually is not leaving too much to uncertainty or to chance. It's just a practical energy. It's a very practical energy here. It's organization, it's preparation, it's sorting, filing, archiving, inventorying. It's creating a stability within a certain, like if you establish protocols now for how things can flourish, you create the physical, mental and emotional space for something to grow in a really exponential way. So it's just using this time now to be practical in order to prepare so that an expansive exponential growth can occur, and you will actually be able to contain, sustain and manage it all without being overwhelmed. The bottom of the deck, 5 of Cups reversed, Temperance reversed, Fool reversed and Sage of Wands upright. What I feel is here is, I feel like these 4 cards here are so very different from the main spread in your reading here. What I feel this is this kind of sense, I sense that there's an I'm hearing undisclosed. These 4 cards here feel like what you keep private is in the sense that there is some existential concerns about actually being able to manage all of this big dreaming and seeding that you're involved in right now. But what I want to say about this is that it's so normal actually to have that kind of nervous tension before something really transpires. Like this is a normal feeling of like, you know, it's like that moment before you step out on the stage to perform, right? Like you might feel nauseous, right? You might feel like dizzy or unwell, and that's totally normal. That's a normal kind of experience to have when you are about to make big changes in life, when you're about to kind of completely turn things around or begin something new, even though you've been working on it for a long time. But that moment before you really share with people what it is that you've been working on, what's been really meaningful to you, that you've been putting energy into. You have the Sage of Wands upright here. So this is telling me that your higher self, your guidance, your helpers in the unseen world have very much been orchestrating for you and been very much supporting and kind of helping pave the way and guide you in the right directions towards the right people, the right events, the right anything that you need. Like it's kind of there's definitely like a lot of support in the unseen world for you to kind of bring you to the right environments, situations, people and conditions to help you really embody this integration and this pathway opening up for you that you've been really calling in. So if you are experiencing that like nervous tension or anxiety or fear or uncertainty kind of showing up right before you're about to walk out on stage, just know that it is normal and that you need not let that be something that prevents you from actually stepping out onto the stage. Just witness it and observe it. Take a few deep breaths. Work on clarifying the mind. That's what all these, the Swords cards here, the Woman of Crystals, the Sage of Crystals, Eight of Crystals. It really is about cultivating a dialogue with those parts of yourself that show up, that bring that fear and uncertainty to your psyche, and just help your own psyche to understand that this is the direction we're going, this is happening, and it's okay if you feel unsure, but we're going to do it anyway. And just cultivate a kind of practice of, rather than letting that fear and anxiety and the lower parts of the ego that may be speaking loudly at the moment, rather than ignoring it or rather than trying to silence it, actually listen to it, but then create a conversation between that lower ego mind and the higher self, the part of you that is connected to a much greater intelligence, a greater wisdom, and create a dialogue and let that part of you know that it's okay that you feel those things, but this is happening anyway and we can do it, you know, like cultivate confidence, cultivate self-love, cultivate assurance and positivity, and work with everything that you feel. Like everything has a valid voice, but there's a way to kind of cultivate a dialogue within that helps you file those things away in the right places so that they don't overtake your psyche and run the show. Okay, that feels like it for the general reading. I'm going to take the Morgan Greer deck now. Let's just check over here and see if there's anything else. So we're going to pull a few cards here for each sign to see what specifically might be showing up with regards to this energy that we're all having available to us over this period of the new moon with this partial solar eclipse. As I said, it could be as much as a 6-month cycle that we're looking at here. So do come back to this reading later. I'm going to start with Cancer since it's the Cancer birthday month. So happy birthday to all the Cancers. And let's take a look here. Do take a moment here while I'm shuffling to really tune in. Send your energy over into the deck. And focus on your breathing. Come into a calm, quiet center. Okay, Cancer. The Moon and the Nine of Cups reversed. Interesting. We had the Nine of Cups here at the heart of the reading as the crossing card, and it's coming out here repeated for you, Cancer, for your reading, with the Moon, which is your card. So how I'm seeing this is that it's very much a reiteration of what we've talked about here, with some additional information. I feel like for a lot of Cancerian people, there is definitely, like, you've been in a transitional period where there's been some changes in the first part of the year, and you may be coming to a place now where you're starting to really understand that those changes, while they may have been difficult, there may have been some really challenging times in the last couple of months, that it's helping you to understand a bit more clearly, like, what your own needs are. I feel there's something here about, like, really understanding how important it is for you to understand what your own needs are and learn how to meet your own needs rather than hoping or waiting for something outside of you to change or for somebody else to notice what it is that you need and provide it for you. I feel there's a learning about a greater independence here for Cancers, and also understanding a little bit more how your subconscious mind may be driving your motivations in a way that needs to be addressed, such that you are actually able to create a greater sense of contentedness and fulfillment and happiness without so much of unconscious patterns or drives being kind of controlling you. Okay, Cancer, I hope that's clear. After Cancer, we have Leo, the Fool reverse and the King of Swords upright. Interesting, we've had some more repeating cards here from this reading. So the Fool was in reverse here in the extended cards from the general reading, and we had Sage of Crystals at the heart there, similar to the King. What I feel this is here for Leo is, again, it's kind of a reiteration of what we've talked about here. If you are on the cusp of something new, and there is like a point where you are like ready to transition, but there is a little bit of a hesitation because you're afraid. The King of Swords is here to remind you that the work to do is in your mind. It's a mind thing. It's like whatever hesitation you may be feeling, or whatever reluctance or resistance that you might be feeling, you need to work with mind. You need to work with your thoughts. You need to pay close attention to the thoughts that you're thinking, and really bring a clarity and a wisdom to whatever unconscious mind thoughts are running there that's making you feel hesitant and reluctant. Because there is a new energy on the horizon for you, and it is very much something that you've been wanting and needing and calling in. And it is available there for you. There's something here about letting go of whatever, I mean, just simply that the Fool is in reverse here. I feel that there is something about closure that you need to like be more proactive about closing out the cycle that you're in now, and overcome any attachments or holding on that you might be playing out something that's preventing you from actually having a new beginning. It's not someone else, it's you. Okay, that was Leo. Virgo, we have Nine of Wands reversed and Five of Cups reversed. Again, another repeating card here. Nine of Wands reversed and Five of Cups reversed here. Here I feel what this is saying for Virgo is that if you've been very determined and maybe a little bit too stubborn about what you're pursuing in a way that is preventing you from letting go and moving on from something. Hope that's making sense. Let me just give me a second here to tune into that a little bit more. Nine of Wands reversed and Five of Cups reversed. What I'm feeling this is that you may understand that there is something that you have already, like a cycle has already been completed, But you're being a little bit too stubborn about actually letting it close out because you are maybe spending a little bit too much time in regret or remorse or sadness. 5 of Cups reversed. I feel that you could really help yourself to move on. And not that there's anything wrong with grieving or sadness, but you might be actually lingering a little bit too long in that energy. That's not for everyone. That's for some people. Just take what you need out of this, right? But if that's resonating for you, then really look at that. Because if you're allowing too much time spent in regret or in sadness or in like, if events from the past have already generated a catalyst in your life, but you're spending a lot of time still thinking about those things, still trying to compartmentalize things, if you're still processing emotion about those things, but it's actually already understood, okay? That's the point here. Is like you may not actually need to still process those emotions. They may already be put away, but you're keeping that energy alive and you're preventing yourself from moving forward because you're being too what's the word? I guess it's just about really letting go, because this 9 of Wands reverse is telling me that you will not let go of the idea that that thing is already passed by. You might be trying to keep it alive even though the moment has already passed, right? The 9 of Wands is saying that you are maybe using determination to an extreme, to the point where it's detrimental, okay? If you're being mentally, emotionally, physically and spiritually stubborn about a topic that needs to be let pass, like moved on from, you're keeping grief alive by spending too much time in regret. That's basically what this is. There's a feeling here that you're still processing emotional energy that actually has long been completed. Like the energy of a cycle that's been completed already, you are keeping it active by still thinking about it, still thinking that you need to process something about it. You don't. It's already done. You need to let go. That's what it says here. You need to let go. It's almost like your capacity to endure is working against you at this time, because you feel like you still need to endure the situation, but actually it's something that's in your memory. That event or that action or that circumstance it's not active anymore. It's not alive anymore, but you're keeping it active by keeping your thoughts alive and keeping your emotions keyed into it, by still feeling regret, feeling remorse, feeling the loss. Feeling the loss. You're still feeling the loss when actually it's time to move forward and understand that it was something educational, and you need not be, because it's a sentimental energy that I'm feeling here. There's like a nostalgic and sentimental energy with this pairing of cards here that's telling me that you may be keeping a difficult circumstance alive because you're thinking about it too much. I'm going to move on because I've talked about that a long time now already. So that was Virgo. Libra, 3 of Swords reverse and 4 of Pentacles reverse. Interesting. So this is feeling to me like some type of emotional experience that was actually triggered by someone's communication towards you is helping you to understand how you can better resolve and understand boundaries. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else there. I think what I feel with these two cards here is that something that someone may have said to you or communicated to you, 3 of Swords, it might have hurt your feeling at the time, but you are able to see now that that information was not actually it was not a personal attack on you, but it was designed to help you understand something about your energy, your personal energy field, that needs to be recalibrated in order for not just you but others to have I'm hearing more freedom, something like that. I'm hearing personal space. So someone close to you may have communicated to you that they want a little bit more space, and that might have hurt your feelings, but actually maybe now you're realizing that you needed that too. Okay, the battery ran out there, but yeah, so for Libra, that was a message about personal space. So make sure you always get enough time to yourself each day so you can hear your own thoughts and just be clear in your own energy field. Libra, Scorpio, the Tower and Two of Swords. Okay. The Tower and the Two of Swords, both upright for Scorpio. I feel that this is a message around... I feel that for some Scorpio people, you may not be willing to realize yet that there's something you really need to make a very big change around. I think there's a need for a radical shift in some area. It could be something physical, like you might need to move house or quit your job or leave a relationship or something in the very physical manifest world. Or it could be something like you need to make a decision or change your mind about something, but you may not be willing to yet really acknowledge and accept and be clear about that yet. That's what this Two of Swords is saying here to me. I feel like you may not actually be able to acknowledge yet that you need to make a drastic change, a very radical change in some area of your life. So I hope this reading finds you well in a way that you're actually able to receive this information now. And if you do know that you need to make changes in some area, that you have the patience and the courage and the love and the foresight to actually make those changes before you experience a kind of difficult hand of God type of experience, where because what the energy of the Tower and the message that the Tower brings is that if you are unaware that changes need to be made for whatever reason, if you're being willfully ignorant, right? This is what this is saying here to me. Like this is saying to me that you know that you need to make changes, but you're refusing to see it. And that's dangerous, because if that's the case, what the Tower card can bring here is a sleight of hand. That means that the universe will pull some maneuver on you to kind of force you to make a change if you're not making it yourself. So be willing to acknowledge and be graceful about changes that you need to make, and do them willfully with foresight and with courage and wisdom and patience before it gets to the point where it becomes critical and universe moves on your behalf. Okay? Take these words, heed these words, and be timely about your efforts to make changes that need to be made. Okay, Scorpio? Don't wait for the universe to make it for you, because it won't be as comfortable as if you make it yourself. Even though you may feel like you don't have time or money or energy or whatever right now to make some changes, you might be feeling like there's still something beneficial for you to gain from a certain situation. Just be careful about that. Don't mislead yourself. Don't be dishonest towards yourself. And certainly don't stay in a situation that's not right for you out of obligation. That's really important here. This is about you being really honest with what's right for you, and taking action and movement on situations and circumstances. Make sure your safety is always first. Make sure your well-being is always taken care of by you, because nobody else will. Nobody else will. That goes for everyone. What's jumping out at me right now about these two cards is, like, you can see the two swords here, right? These two swords here, but then you can see in the Tower card there's these two lightning bolts. So I feel like, and they're kind of at the same angle. So I feel like there's definitely a message here of, like, if you don't remove this blindfold and, like, release whatever resistance or blockage you have to seeing the truth, then, like I said, there will be some action or circumstances or change of... the situation will move on your behalf because it's what's needed. You need to understand that that's what's needed. Don't avoid the truth because you don't have the time to deal with it. That was Scorpio. Capricorn. Two of Wands reversed with Nine of Swords reversed. This is telling me that it's a kind of a similar energy here, actually, with this. The two of Wands reverse is feeling a little bit like the Two of Swords there. This is telling me that you may also be reluctant to make decisions about something because you are feeling either obligated, or maybe you're under contract. Maybe you're under contract. Maybe you are you feel obligated or bound to a situation or a person, and that's preventing you from making changes and making decisions, even though it's what you need and want. So again, a timely message here that you really ought to make sure that you are looking after your own well-being and your best interests, and that you don't avoid tasks or you don't avoid making changes because you're afraid to upset someone's feelings or such and such, you know, things along that line. Make sure that you are making decisions that are putting your well-being as a priority. And I don't mean that to be selfish in the way of like disregarding other people's needs and wants or safety, but you know, like I'm talking about here, like staying in situations that are unhealthy for you because you don't have necessarily the self-confidence or the courage to speak up about something that feels unfair to you. Like if your energy is being utilized in a way that you don't like or you don't want, then take action here to make changes in order to make sure that you are taking care of your best interests. You know, this is about self-care and your own well-being. That was Capricorn. Aquarius, 10 of Wands with the Knight of Pentacles. I feel this is similar. I don't know what's going on here. There's definitely similar messages here for the last 3 or 4 signs where I feel like there is a need here to make changes, and you may not be willing to make them at this time because either you don't have the self-confidence, you don't have the foresight to see that the direction you're going may end you in a place that you don't want to be. You understand what I'm saying? Like there's things that you need to stop doing. That's what it says here. There's things that you need to stop doing. And this Knight of Pentacles reverse is saying to me that you feel committed to those things and so you keep doing them, but this is very unhealthy. Very unhealthy, very unsustainable. There's things that you need to stop doing. There are things that you may have committed to that are things that you need to stop doing. I'm hearing patience, but I feel like the patience that you may be exhibiting patience around the circumstance that has long outgrown the relevance for you to have patience for, if that makes sense. There's things that you really need to stop doing. I'm going to leave it there. That's Aquarius. After Aquarius, we have Pisces, King of Wands reversed, and the Page of Cups upright. Pisces. I'm hearing design your life. Design your life, Pisces. Page of Cups is kind of one of your cards. I associate the Page of Cups to the Pisces. And then this King of Wands here in reverse. I feel like this is saying that you may need to channel your fire energy in a little bit more of a direct and confident way towards your passions. Okay. What else is here? I do like what I'm feeling with these 2 cards here is that there's something about like, okay, you have ideas, you have creativity, you have initiative. I'm hearing you have capacity. I'm hearing you have capacity, but the King of Wands in reverse here is feeling like in order to actually embody and like physically ground out those things, it requires more willfulness and more self-confidence. So that's the message there for Pisces. Start to channel and cultivate more self-confidence, more willfulness, more what's the word? Brashness. It's a kind of brashness I'm feeling. It's hard to kind of put the energy in words, but it's like you have this like very receptive, watery, dreamy energy. But to actually embody those creative thoughts and feelings and visions into the world, it requires a little bit more like masculine, pushy. It's almost like being pushy. Being pushy. I don't mean that in an arrogant way, because like I know most of you can't. But how I'm feeling that is like to convert this energy into the world, it requires a little bit more masculinity, for lack of a better word. More determination. Pisces, Aries, Knight of Swords reversed and the World reversed. Knight of Swords reversed and the World reversed. What is this? I'm hearing courage. I feel that for Pisces, the message here is in order to complete a cycle, as we talked about in the general reading for everyone, in order to complete a cycle and move on, there may need to be a little bit of a like a brashfulness as well, like that. I was kind of similar to what I was saying there for Pisces, is that in order for something to complete here, for this closure to happen, in order for you to complete a cycle and move into the next one, I feel there's some communication that needs to happen, but you have rightfully so been waiting for the right moment, and it doesn't say here exactly when that right moment is. That's up to you to know and feel, but there is some kind of communication that needs to be shared for a closure to happen. So that's what the message is here. The right time will appear at some point soon for you to communicate something that you have been very patiently waiting for the right circumstances and conditions to appear for you to be able to express some thoughts and feelings in order for them to be received in the way that they need to be received for a clean closure. That's what I'm hearing. Clean closure. Okay. So patience for Aries. Taurus, King of Cups reversed and Three of Pentacles reversed. Cool. So this is saying here that the time during this cycle coming into this, starting from this new moon period and for the next cycle up to as long as 6 months, there is an opening here for group work, collaborations, and like delegation of work and efforts that will create a greater emotional stability for you, that will create a greater space for clarity, for creativity, and for emotional wellness. That's what I feel here. The King of Cups reversed with the Three of Pentacles. It's providing a space for sharing workload in a way that will allow you to feel a lot more creative and give you the space to explore different aspects that you may not have had time or energy to reach until this time. That was Taurus, Gemini, Three of Cups upright and the King of Pentacles upright. Beautiful. This is telling me that there is also this, again, like similar to this previous energy, the three of Pentacles with the King of Wands. Sorry, King of Cups in reverse here for the Taurus. Feels really similar to this King of Pentacles with Three of Cups. What I feel this is saying here is that there's also collaborative energy that is allowing for you to create wealth. That's what I'm seeing here. There's an energy here where people coming together with it's a very lofty feeling that I'm getting with this Three of Cups. It's a very enlightened, very high mind kind of energy of people coming together with high ideals, high aspirations, high consciousness, high, what's the word? Intentions. It's a very intentional energy coming together here, providing for the ability for people to create wealth and abundance and prosperity. So that's a really beautiful energy to feel. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of a very beautiful merger I'm hearing of like very physical, tangible creation of prosperity and abundance and wealth for people, but coming from a place of actually an alignment with righteousness and good intentions. And it's almost like the opposite of what we've known, like, you know, capitalism has often been like about how a few people get really wealthy at the expense of others. This feels like the opposite, where comfort and luxury and abundance and prosperity is created for a lot of people out of something very beneficial and good and kind and intentional and integral. So that's really beautiful. I like that. I just realized that I didn't do Sagittarius. So that was Gemini. We already did Cancer, so I'm going to do Sagittarius now. So Four of Cups with the Five of Swords. Okay, let's have a look. Four of Cups, Five of Swords. for Sagittarius. It does feel a little bit like a stalemate here, where you may have received an offer recently to contribute or collaborate in some way or work together with someone, but you may be I'm hearing delete, but I feel like you're denying or what's the word? I can't find the word right now. Just a second. So an offer that someone's providing to you is not interesting to you. You may not be interested, and you may be leaving an offer behind that someone is providing to you. And that actually feels very, 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 very correct, actually. That feels like right action. So 4 of Cups upright with the 5 of Swords. So an offer that someone's providing you is something that you're going to leave on the table. That's what I'm hearing. Leave on the table. I'm going to take one more because I feel like that needs a little bit more explanation. Queen of Cups. Okay, so 4 of Cups, 5 of Swords, and Queen of Cups. So an offer that someone's giving you is something that you will leave on the table and walk away from, because it doesn't feel like it's in alignment with your creative vision, with your intentional direction that you want to take, and with your emotional well-being, emotional stability. I feel like what someone's offering you, you are able to understand that offer may actually, I'm hearing, impede or what's the right word? Interfere with your progress that you're making in your emotional and spiritual development. That's what I feel here. So while, like, maybe in the past you might have jumped at that offer because you might have been able to make a lot of money from it, or you might have been able to like climb the career path that you want to kind of take. But where you're at right now, you understand that taking that offer would actually inhibit or prevent your development in a certain way in your emotional, spiritual, and creative development that you've been working really hard on. So that feels really good to feel like you're cultivating a kind of integrity that is enabling you to see that not every offer, while it might lead to a kind of financial reward or a kind of the climbing energy, it may not be for you. And that's really beautiful to see that you can actually acknowledge that and turn away from offers that may, on one hand, provide a certain type of reward or success in certain areas, but you are cultivating a practice here of prioritizing your emotional wellness and your personal development. I'm very happy to see that. So that is all the signs now. So we've covered the whole zodiac wheel. I'm just going to go back over here and check if there's any other messages that I should pass on here for this reading. As I said, this is a general, the collective reading for all signs for the new moon in Cancer, which is also paired with a partial solar eclipse. It can be as big as a 6-month cycle. So do bookmark this reading and come back to it later to review it in a couple of months' time to see where you're at with the messages that have been passed along here. What else? I'm hearing ingenuity. Look at this Hierophant card. Ingenuity is coming through. I don't feel that there's more to say there. Just if that message is for you, then let me know in the comments. What does it mean to you? What else is here? I'm hearing curve. If that means something to you, let me know in the comments. I do feel like, as I said, this is a moment here where, while many of you have been working towards big changes, you've already been conceptualizing and crafting your ideas and concepts into being. There is a moment here where there's still some final drawing up of plans and preparation and organization and kind of like synthesis of information and ideas. There is still some last details of information that are waiting to come through for you, that before you can actually proceed forward in the actual physical realm where you can actually expose your ideas and concepts to people. There's still some final details that need to be refined. So use this time thoughtfully and carefully to really cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and be very kind of thorough in your preparation before you step forward into the physical realm of exposing and revealing what it is that you've been working on. Be patient, be thoughtful, and be timely in your approach. Okay, that's the final messages there. Thank you so much for watching. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. There's going to be menus now, playlists on your screen that will show you other readings that are in this folder for energy signature readings from previous moon cycles or astrological events. So go back and have a look at those if you're new here. Thank you so much for your subscription, and we'll see you in the next reading.